Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to FortressCraft Evolved. I'm AxionEvolved, and before we get started, I have some bad news, I guess. Nothing serious though. I had I had already recorded an episode prior to this one that you guys are hearing now, only to find out that the audio was completely gone and I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm gonna do my best this episode to kind of recap a little bit of what went on in the last episode, and of course we're gonna make some progress today, right? So, without further ado, before we get into it, do me a favor real quick, scroll down, hit that subscribe button, maybe? Alright, let's get in this video. So before we get started about where we're going, we got to look at what we've done, right? And you guys should notice quite a big difference over here in our smelting area. I went ahead and I kind of started getting this configured for kind of the final design, right? And that includes a couple things here. So, number one, we see four of these guys right here, these induction chargers. So the plan is eventually, we want scalability, right? So eventually I'm going to have these be able to support, 5 smelters at least per ore. And we might be able to get creative kind of with how it's all laid out if we have the need to. But yeah, I want to get these all spaced out, and I hooked up the tin. You can see none of the stuff that was down here is. I got the tin hooked up over here, making pods. So we'll see if we can't hook up these guys also for the future as well. And over here you can see I kind of spaced out the belts in a way where it could accommodate kind of future lines that we need to run in, right? And we also kind of updated the power situation here. So you see this infused coal going down here. This system's pretty simple. It's really just, pyrothermics. I think there's 4 per induction charger, all with infused coal. So those just run all the way down. Very, very easy to scale, and it gives more than enough power for all this. So I'm hoping it gives enough power for, 5 of the smelters, but we'll see. Once we start putting on higher tier force inductions, I'm not sure 100% if it's gonna do everything we need to do, but we'll see. It works for now, and that's what's important, right? And also you can see I kind of cleared out some of this stuff over here, cleared out all this area to make room for all of our belts that are going to come through. And over here's kind of I'm tentatively calling this kind of like the intake area. I may end up kind of reconfiguring how some of this stuff is sent, but you can see I'm kind of putting belts down to visualize the spacing between everything. 5 lines with a 3 tile gap in between each set of lines, so that hopefully gives us enough space. We could always stack if we have to, so go vertical to get more room, to get more capacity, but we'll kind of see how that goes. Over here I also kind of mined out or processed some of this resin. This is the active hive mind right here. I may end up just killing these and setting up the farm elsewhere a little bit more out of the way, but we're honestly we're not there yet. I want to build my resin farm so bad so that I can start getting turbines and all that stuff going, but we're just not ready because we got to get this stuff going. But the main source of all of these resources is right over here, and that's in our newly dug out quarry area. So ran the Mark II auto excavator through here, kind of just cleared out a big old area. This is our same quarry that we had before, only now it's coming, the infused coal is coming from right and going left, right? So I have it set up in a way where it can just feed all the way down. It was going to be a little difficult, it's coming from left to right, and that was going to be difficult to expand to our other quarries. And you can see I've already got a quarry right here, and I've got kind of blocks positioned for future quarries, which it just so happens if I just kind of scroll through everything and, don't find what I need, I've got 2 more basic quarries that we can kind of throw down here, right? So now I don't know, what, let's just throw these both down. I don't know how you tell where where it's going to start putting down the blocks, right? Because yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Let's throw down, I think, a couple of them. Let's do Let's do 5, because that should help me figure out which way. All right. Okay. So that is going the right way. All right. So I think they take 40. Let's do 30. Okay. 35. That should put up that quarry. Oh, nice. Okay. So it does show. The quarry's right there. Okay. So we'll put these ones down 2. And that should... Okay. So now we're going to have all of these quarries right here. So what else I'm going to do? I'm going to slap these down. I'm going to slap these down. We're going to throw some batteries on top. And we're just going to get this ready to go, you know. So kind of same design. This one's not powered, right? Same design where I have 3 pyrothermics powered by 2 logistics hoppers on a Mark II battery. Eventually, this coal will be gone and we'll be using solar or turbines or something else. But for now, this is going to have to work. So let me go ahead and copy this over here. And I've got a couple... So I have this, the coal just kind of running on the ground here. I could have just had it go straight across. And maybe that's better. You know what? I think I am going to do that. I kind of wanted to just keep the design because it looks kind of cool. But if we ever do anything kind of back there... It's just not going to work out very well. You know what I mean? So if we do something like that, we'll put a belt on right there. And we'll just kind of like bridge all the way over, right? Do this number, go in. And then steal that again, right? We got one more? Yeah. Okay, so that should, you know, in quotation marks, power everything, right? And... I obviously don't have this connected yet, so it's not actually going to run yet. But something we have to consider and take care of is all this output, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect up some of these belts because we're going to need to kind of like figure out how we're going to get this all connected. And really the biggest thing is filtering. We got to figure out how we're going to filter everything. So let me run this a little bit that way. And then we will, I'll bring you guys back when I have these belts kind of all connected up. All right, so I've got the 4 quarry belts over here for now. I'm going to do 1 line each for now because I don't have a lot of confidence that the power will kind of be able to hold out over there, but also that we'll be able to kind of process everything fully, right? And something I didn't consider that I may have made a mistake with is... Eventually, if I'm running 3 belts for each quarry, it's going to be difficult to, I guess, filter out everything because the filters work at 90-degree angles, right? They work off of something. So if I have the other belts in the way, that can just get a little messy, right? So the first thing I need to do for each of these, right? I'm going to throw on a series of hoppers. Let's just start here for now, right? So we'll bring this in. The very first thing we need to do is we just need to get all the smeltable items, right? Everything smeltable one way, everything not smeltable the other way, right? What? I didn't want to close that. I wanted to build it. There we go. Okay, so smeltable one way, not smeltable the other way. So there's a couple things we can do, I guess, for this. When all 4 sets of smeltable belts come this way, I can just have them very easily kind of just connect onto a line, right? I can dedicate a line or even have them connect into these lines. I may actually just disconnect well, I don't know. Really, we don't want these getting backed up because if these back up, then the quarry backs up. Actually, you know what? I'll figure that out afterwards. I'd rather get these properly connected up and then we'll worry about all of that after the fact, right? So let me expand these guys out a little bit. All right, so here's kind of the rudimentary, I guess, the first phase. Well, really, this is going to be the second line of filtering that we do. Smeltable items out. We're going to do another set of filters somewhere in probably around here to look for any coal, because I think I'm going to end up building my coal factory over here for now, because it's fairly centrally located and we can kind of just pipe the coal everywhere. But we're not worried about that right this second, because for now, we need to make sure that when the ore comes in, it gets to where it needs to go. So for that, we're going to use these advanced conveyor filters. Now, it's easier if I just have kind of one line of these. So if all these belts kind of coalesce into one or two sets of filters, it makes it a lot easier for me, right? So let me see here. So if I kind of use this belt as a reference point, maybe here, maybe, right? So we'll have this come in, and maybe, because what we want to do, we want it to kind of like feed down. Maybe I should just do two sets of filters. Because I'm thinking, right, we're going to need 14 filters, because what we're going to do, right, is we're going to filter out something, right? So I think you can, oh, whoops, T something. Wait, this is advanced, right? Oh yeah, here we go. So choose item, right? So if I want, for example, copper, but I want copper ore. Now this is set to copper ore. So any copper ore that comes in here will just go that way, which is great, right? But, oh, well, actually, I guess the problem is we can't guarantee that copper ore won't also go this way. You know what I mean? So, in fact, we can maybe even do a little test. I want to see if I put, oh, I don't even have copper ore, do I? I can get some. There's some right here, right? I want to basically see if I put more copper ore than that thing can hold, if it will take it all out and send it this way, right? So if this fills up with anything, any kind of copper ore, then that's a fail. But if it doesn't, then we may be able to just use this. So let's watch. I've never done this before, so we're about to learn, right? So, okay. So that's a fail, right? This is what we don't want to have happen. We don't want it to overflow this way. We only want copper ore this way. So what we can do, let's take all this out, right? Is we take this and we'll output the copper ore and then invert it, right? So now, and I kind of showed you guys this before, but you know, I think it's worth mentioning again. So now if I throw the copper ore in, it will 100% only go one way, right? It won't come this way. That's great, and that's exactly the output we want, but that requires two advanced filters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these up all real quick, kind of like this in a line, to get all of the, I guess, smeltable items set up, you know, so there's just kind of one filter for each item. And then I'll bring you guys back. I'm going to just coalesce all of these onto one belt. So hopefully that's not such a pain, and it all works out and looks nice. But either way, I'll bring you guys back shortly. All right, so here's the quote-unquote final kind of ore filter setup, right? So we've got, what, copper, tin, iron, lithium, gold, nickel, and then anything left that's not one of these other 6 ores is going to be titanium, right? So I could put, you know, actually, you know, maybe I'll just put one here just for kind of good measure, right? Titanium ore, boom. So now all of the ores are explicitly labeled, right? So now it's just a matter of hooking up a belt to the appropriate line, right? So over here, what have we got? First one is copper, and copper is right here. So I got a couple options, right? I can get rid of those, kind of bring these back, and I could just hook copper up to one of these. So that requires kind of going over this way, and maybe I'll hit that one. I don't know if I've explained logistics grommets before, but they are an easy way to kind of ensure that you don't have to worry about crossing belts, right? You don't have to worry about going up and down to cross belts, I should say. It's quite easy, and I think they look pretty cool, you know, pretty all right. So let's hook that guy up right here. All right, so that's the gist of what we have to do for this. So I'm going to hook these up to their appropriate lines, with the exception of these tier 3 ores. I'm just going to have them feed into hoppers. Maybe I'll get, 500 slot hoppers or something, or 2,000 slot hoppers, because I don't have their smelting setup done yet. But for these tier 1 ores, I'm at least going to hook them up to their respective lines, and then I'll bring you guys back, because there's still a whole other side we have to do with these guys right here. So, all right. So now that we've kind of got that hooked up, I honestly don't have enough belts to really get this fully hooked up. So I'm going to experiment by kind of just merging these into the existing lines that are already going to smelt. So that you got the tin one right here. The copper one is right here. It's going to hit the matter mover there. I'm just going to let that go and see kind of what does our throughput even look like. I'm sure we're eventually going to be power limited, but it kind of just is what it is. But also, we need to figure out what we're going to do with all that rock, because that's going to be the majority of everything, right? Is the rock here. So what we can do, right? And again, I'm not really planning this well in terms of future kind of proofing, right? I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to have this go here, and we're just going to plop those in, right? And what's going to happen is this stuff's all going to macerate, and it's going to all output. It's going to output here. Oh, it always does that. All right, we've seen this macerator setup. But what the next step we're going to need to do, right? We're basically going to have to mirror this thing right here. We're going to have to set up for our macerator setup, because it just outputs ore indiscriminately, and we need to make sure they get to the right lines. In the future, I could see one of these filtering banks for either every single line, right? Or at least every single quarry has its own dedicated filter. I can't predict what the throughput's going to be. I've never done this before. So I'm just kind of assuming we'll be able to do it. I don't really know, but I'm very interested in finding out, right? Maybe I'll actually make these bigger, because we want, in fact, let's bring these all down and make sure that we're going to be okay. So you're right there. Let's leave, I guess we'll leave a little gap, huh? You'll be right there. Gap, you'll be right there. I don't have to leave the gaps, but it is what it is. I doubt this is going to be enough. I still fully feel that we're going to have more kind of to process than we're able to process, but it's at least a good start, because none of this is final form, but it's all boom. It is all kind of ready to at least start its journey, We can always iterate on this later and get it to where it needs to be, but we have to build something first. It's easier to, Anyway, I'm going to build another filtering setup, and then I will bring you guys right back. All right, and here's the overview kind of the whole system. I ended up using these little, I guess, bridges over here just to kind of eventually merge these belts. The majority, I think, of ore we're going to get is going to come from over here eventually, because this will only kind of come into play when we hit actual deposits, which I hope happens, because it will make things easier. But for now, let's hook up the power over here and kind of see, let's see this thing kind of come to life and see, how everything works. So we'll let everything start flowing. We'll hook this guy up, get this guy flowing again. And let's see, what happens. Let's just do this. I'm going to have all of these kind of point in. Let's see. We're getting the power over here eventually. There we go. There's the first power going. What are you doing? We can kind of come in between. What are you waiting on? Cannot locate input hopper. Input hopper's right here. What are you doing? So I don't know what I did. I guess it needed more more blocks. So I just threw more blocks in and more of these chevrons. And it appears to be working. So let me kind of do the same thing for this guy. Yeah, see, it's E to confirm. All right. So then it should start working. Hopefully, right? We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll get you outputting. And are you the last one? Do you need help? There you go. E to confirm. We'll throw that on. We'll throw that on. And we will output. So now, oh my gosh. What a beautiful sight. Look at all of that. Let's go take a look at how this is working over here. So, okay, so look at that. Iron. See, and this is the problem with the iron. When the ore backs up, it's going to back everything up. So, I mean, we got space, so it's still kind of flowing. But how is it flowing over here, I wonder? Have we... Okay, we're starting to fill up. We're starting to macerate. Anything come through over here? I don't see it yet. You know what? Not too bad. Oh, there's our first one. Where's copper? I know I saw it. Hello? Wait, are you on the end? Why are you over here? What? Set to accept copper ore. Whoops. Our first lithium. We got some copper. You know, we can kind of throw that all. You know, we could throw all of this in here. Honestly, it should all filter the right way. Look at that. Look at that. It's working. Nice. All right. So, yeah, I think this is where we're going to call it an episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're as excited for this as I am. You know, I only see big things coming on this. And honestly, I think the next episode we have to get around to maybe spending some of this ore, right? Especially this iron. I think I'm going to hook the iron up to the yeah, I think I'm going to hook it up to the lab so it'll start at least making pods. That's like a really nice way to spend stuff. But look at these quarries go. We've got 4 quarries actively mining, and they're not even close to getting maxed out. Power looks okay. I think we know we're making enough coal for now. Yeah, this is really, really exciting. Another thing we can do, just by the way, we can set up some construction paste grinders. I probably will. Maybe I'll dedicate a line to that. You know, I could even just do... maybe I could just come off of one of these and just dedicate construction paste, because we're going to need a ton of that for all of our building. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. I hope... sorry for the mix-up, and sorry for kind of like the big time jump with the missing episode, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. And with that, we'll see you in the next one.